Hello guys, my name is Will Ngugi, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create a simple blood donation application with Flutter and Firebase, and also I'm going to use Riverpod for state management. Okay, so we are going first to start with a small splash screen, and then we are going to create this login page, and also users can register as recipients and they can also register as donors. So if the users already have an account, they can log into the account. So I'm going to log in as a recipient. So once I'm logged in, the application loads all the donors in the application, and we can have this navigation drawer over here. All right, so one thing that we can do is that first, we can use these menus and this drawer to filter on the donors of the different blood groups. All right, so for example, if I tap on A positive, right now we do not have any donors that are of blood group A positive, but we can filter through to see the different donors with the different blood groups. Also, we can filter to get the donors that have the same blood group as us, for example. And as you can see here, this donor is of blood group O positive. And if I go to my account, as this is my account, and I have a blood group of O positive. Okay, so another thing that we can do is to email these individuals. And the way that we're going to do is that we are going to click on email. And when we tap on this email, we are going to send an email to this donor directly to their email account, directly from this application. So you're not going to open Gmail app. We are just going to click on this button and we are going to automatically send an email right from this application. All right, and I can do that by tapping on this email button. So with that, the email has been sent successfully. If I open Gmail, as you can see here, I have received an email that I have just sent from the application. As you can see, it's a blood donation request with the details of the person that have sent that particular email. So finally, the last thing that we can do is go to open notifications. We get this notification that we have requested blood donation from this particular donor on February 4th of 2025. So this is the date of today. Okay, so basically that is the application that we're going to create. It's quite a simple application, but it's an application that is going to teach us quite a lot. So let's get started. So if you want to contact me on WhatsApp or any other social media platforms, you can find all the details in the description box below. So the first thing that we need to do is to go to the folder that we want to create the project. I'm going to open the command prompt there. All right. So, and in here, now I'm going to create the project that I want to create. So you just use the command flutter create. All right. And that is going to create the project that we want. So as you can see here, the project has been created. So I'm going to open my project in Android Studio, but feel free to use VS Code as well. So the first thing that I want to do is to go to settings. So on actions on save, I'm going to check this reformat code and apply. All right, so we always start with the main.dat. So this is the main.dat, which I'm going to clear out. So firstly, we are going to change the title from Flutter demo to blood donation. We're also going to change a few things. First of all, let us change the seed color. The seed color that we are going to use is color 0xFF680C07. We're also going to change the app bar theme. So app bar theme dot copy with, and the color. So we are going to have a centralized place where we are going to create our app colors and the styling that we are going to use for our text. We are going to have a center title of true. So we want to ensure that all our titles are centered, and we are going to have to set the icon theme. So icon theme data dot copy with. So we are going to set the color to colors.white. And another thing that we can do is to remove the debug show checked mode banner like that. So we are going to use Go Router for navigation in this application. All right, so to do that, we are going to install the Go Router package. Just install packages that I need for this project. We now need to add one more parameter to the build method, which is widget_ref, which is conventionally named ref, like that. And then now we are going to use this ref. Now we are going to use this ref to listen to providers that we are going to create in this application. But before that, since we are using Riverpod, we have to encapsulate this my app inside a provider scope. So we are going to change to wrap it with a widget, which is provider scope, like that. And we are going to add the const like that. So let us create another package called routes, which are going to define all the routes of this application, and then we can convert this application, because now this it's going to turn from material app to material out.router, and then you are going to have a router config here, and with that we are going to listen to the current route with the Riverpod, and therefore we are not going to require this anymore, but we are going to get back to it and solve this error. So I'm going to create another folder inside the lib, which I'm going to call routes, and inside these routes I'm going to create a file called routes, like that. So the first thing that I need to do in these routes is to define the different routes that I'm going to have. So, and I'm going to put them all in an enum. So I'm going to call this enum app routes. So these are the different routes that you are going to have in this application. Let us now use GoRouter to create the different routes. And since we're going to use Riverpod, we are going to create it like this. So we are going to say GoRouter. So this is possible because, as you can see, the package GoRouter has been imported here. I'm just going to call this GoRouter, GoRouter ref. And inside of this, now we are going to return the different routes. So we are going to return GoRouter. And then here we are going to have the different routes. Okay, so the first route that you are going to have is a splash. So go route. So the path is /splash, like that. The name is approutes.splash.name, like that. And we are going to have a builder. So the builder, first of all, takes the context and also takes the state, and then it returns. So we are going to return the splash screen. So it's going to be a const at the end, the splash screen that we are going to create. So that is how we define a route, and we are going to define more routes in future. So let us create this splash screen. Let me create a new folder inside this lib, and I'm going to call it splash, like that. And inside of it, I'm going to create now the splash screen. So this is our splash screen, and this splash screen is going to be a simple stateful widget, and I'm going to call it splash screen. So to eliminate the errors, so I'm import material.dat, like that. So in the state class, we are going to extend a mixin, so with single ticker provider state mixin. And inside here, we are now going to create the variables that we are going to use to create our animation. First, we are going to create a controller called animation controller, and we are going to call it a controller. We are going to create animation. It's a generic type offset. So we are going to animate the logo and some text. So this we are going to call it a logo controller, and we are going to create yet another animation for the text, okay, or the title of the application. And this I'm going to call it text controller. Okay, so we are going to override the init state to initialize our variables here. So our controller equals to animation controller. Okay, so vsync, you pass this, and this is possible because we have extended this class, the single ticker provider state mixin, that mixin. After the vsync, we specify a duration. So duration, you can have a duration of 2 seconds, 2, like that. And with that, we can have a semicolon at the end. So let me move this super init state at the top here. No, let me name this a logo animation. Logo animation. And I'm going to name this a text animation, like that. Logo animation. We are going to set it to a twin, equals to twin offset. So begin, I want us to begin at 0 minus 1. So by this means that it's going to move from top to bottom, okay, and it's going to end at offset, so 0 0. So this means that it's going to move from bottom to the dead center of the screen, okay. And then we are going to animate it. So .animate. So the kind of animation that we are going to set here is curved animation. We are going to add curved animation, and the parent is a controller, and we already have a controller. We are going to set it there, and the curve, we are going to use curves dot. For this case, I'm going to just use is in out. So that is the logo animation, but we now need to work on the text animation. We are going to set it similar to this one. So I'm just going to copy that and paste it down here, but I'm going to change this to text animation. So for the text, I want it to begin from left side. So you are going to start from -1 to 0, okay, and it's going to end at the center of the screen, okay. and we are also going to set the same parent and the same curves. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is to now set the controller and say controller.forward to play our animation that we want to play here. All right, so once our animation is over, what we want to do is now to navigate to the next screen, and we can do that. So future.delayed. So we are going to pass a const duration here, and we are going to set the seconds to 3, like that. We now specify the route that we want to navigate to. So, and the route that we want to navigate to is the app routes.main.name. So another thing that we need to do now is to override the dispose method. And what we need to do here is now we need to dispose our controller when it's no longer on use. So controller.dispose, like that. So now inside our build method, we are going now to create the logo and also the text that we want to animate. We are going to return a scaffold, and we are going to set the background color. So the background color that you're going to set here is the same that I set inside here. So I'm just going to copy this, pass it there, okay? And inside the body, we are going to have a center with the child, and the child is going to be a column. So the first child is going to be slide transition. So the position that we are going to set is the logo animation, and the child is now the logo itself. So for that, I'm going to create another folder here, which I'm going to call assets. And I'm going to copy the logo. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste it inside here. And that is what I'm going to pass here as the child. So the child is going to be an image asset. So image.asset. So it's assets/logo.png. And I'm going to give it a width of 150. Okay, of course, we know for that to work, I need to go to pubspec.yaml file. And I'm going to go down here to assets, and I'm going to uncomment those. And I need everything in the assets. So I'm just going to say assets/. And with that, we are going to have access to our logo. So I'm going to run pub-get to ensure that we get all the latest dependencies. Okay, so with that, we are going to have our logo. So after the slide transition, I'm going to add a sized box with a height of 20. And then I'm going to add yet another slide transition. But this time, this one is going to be for the text. So the position here is going to be text animation. So the child is going to be a text. So the text is going to read blood donation app, like that. And we are going to style it. We are going to style it a little bit later. Let me just add yet another slide transition. And here we are going to add another text that says donate and save lives, something like that. Inside the column, we can add the main axis alignment of center and maybe a cross axis alignment of center as well. So with that, we can go back to routes. And now here we are going to import the screen like that. Okay, to solve this error, we are going to run the build runner. But before that, let me add some few configurations in the Go routes. So inside this Go router, we can set the initial location. So the initial location is going to be splash. So we want the splash to be the first screen that is loaded once the application starts. Okay. So I want us to show the locations inside the logs. So we are going to set this to true. So let me create the main screen so that once the splash screen loads, we can navigate to the main screen. And to do that, I'm just going to copy this route here. Okay. And I'm going to paste it here. All right. So this is going to be /main, and the route is going to be approach.main.name. And here we want to return the main screen. So main screen. Okay, so I'm going to quickly create the main screen. Okay, so for that, I'm going to create another folder here called features. And inside of these features, we are going to have several features in this application. For example, we are going to have authentication, and we are going to have some other features. But another feature that we're going to have or to add is user management. So inside of this user management is where we are going to create our main screen. It's important to arrange your folders or your files in a way that if other people were to work on your application, they can be able to know which file is where. So presentation. So presentation are the screens and also the widgets that you see. You can create a presentation, and you can also create another folder called data, and we can create another folder called domain. So domain is going to be like the models of the application. Okay, and so now inside this presentation we can have a folder called screens. We can also have a small folder called widgets. So presentation / widgets, like that, and maybe something we call controllers. But when we get to that, I'm going to show you why we created all these folders. So the main screen is going to be inside of these screens. So I'm going to create a new file, which I'm going to call main screen, like that. So, and this main screen is going to be a consumer widget, and we are able to do this again because we added Flutter report. So to solve these other errors, I'm going to import material.dat file, the material.dat. For simplicity, for now, I'm just going to return a scaffold with an app bar which has a title, of text. I'm just going to call it main screen. So again, we can go back to the routes, and I'm going to import this to this main screen. So we are going to add this riverpod annotation, and we are going to add one line here called path. So path go router. So paths routes.g.dat. So with that, we are going to run the build runner, and it's going to create the necessary file to resolve this error. So open the terminal. The command that we are going to run is this. So run build runner build -- delete conflicting outputs. So we are going to run this command, and with that, it's going to create the necessary file to resolve this error that you see here. And as you can see, with that, we no longer have that error, and we have this file here that has been created with the provider that we need. Okay, so with that, let me go to our main.dat file, and inside here, our property that we are going to set, which is router config. And now this, we are going to set to ref.watch, and we want to set to go router provider. So this provider has been created automatically when you run the build runner. So the thing that you need to do first is to try and run this application to ensure that everything is working correctly. So I'm just going to open my emulator. I'm going to use the emulator for this application, which I'm going to start. So once my emulator is started, I'm just going to run it here. Running it gave me an error. So it's something to do with the minimum SDK version. So to solve that, I can just open Android here, open app, and I'm going to open build.gradle. And inside here, minimum SDK, I'm just going to set this to 23. I forgot about that. Run it again. So now after running the application, we should have our animation and then navigate to the main screen.